Welcome, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi.
I realize that's on this fucking book I've been listening to. It's making me talk like this burst, clipped. I normally talk like this. This is the way I normally talk. And I find that I'm not talking like that in here. It's this fucking book I'm reading. The fucking audio, like if you listen to an accent enough, it fucking starts to soak in. It's happy. I get home, I was playing, it's called Gloomhaven. It's a board game. It's a fucking board game from hell. But I was at my friend's playing, and I realized, like my wife started looking at me funny, and I realized as I was talking, I slowly started slipping into this voice, and it was, yeah. Okay, here's another 2 minutes when I fucking do the video later, I gotta chop off the front. I had to do that yesterday too. Oh, most of you weren't in here. The fucking pie cake talk was like 12 and a half, 13 minutes.
Wow.
I found it and edited it out. Like, so that's a little long. Math 21, we're doing chapter 3 today. And chapter 3 is really like on descriptive statistics. And why does my page just keep flipping on its goddamn own? There's no wind in here. And we're doing a lot of these are a lot of numerical summaries of the data. And recall we had four major distribution shapes. We had our uniform. We had our most common one. I'll do a little bit bigger. I'll fuck this up. It's really hard to do by winging it without blocks in there. It looks kind of like that. It's the bell shape. Then we had our, I'm gonna go back to black. We had it where the tail was longer on the left. And we had one where the tail was longer on the right. This was skew left. And this was skewed right. And a popular question is, when we're looking at this stuff, where is the center?
At the peak.
It's different for each graph. And it's like really, it leads to more stuff like, what do we define as the center?
The median. Like, just like whatever is in the middle.
Median is the exact center value. We'll be hitting that in a second. Median is the more common one that we like, but it's not really the one we use the most often. For the uniform distribution, it's kind of like in the middle, but like the center isn't really meaningful for a uniform distribution. Finding the center isn't really helpful here. Doesn't really help on the uniform distribution. On the bell shape, it's the true center of the peak, just like Mateo said. This is the mean and it's the median. But as we'll see in a second, that really doesn't give us the whole picture either. Now, when we're looking at like the skewed graphs, the skewed numbers, the really low numbers or the really high numbers, they kind of tweak the mean. So in the mean, like for a population, we use this symbol right here. That is pronounced mu, like Mewtwo. It's spelled Mew. I don't play Pokemon, I just know that one. I did like the Pokemon movie with fucking Ryan Reynolds. It's fun seeing fucking Deadpool play fucking Pikachu.
I played like a bunch of the games as a kid, and I still have them. But like I'm thinking about selling them because I know they're like, I think they're like really expensive now.
Pokemon for some reason has kept its value,
Well, it's gone.
like more than even other games, or gone up.
Cause I was looking at selling a bunch of stuff I had in like the Nintendo 3DS. Like some people are like selling it for like almost 1,000, which I'm surprised.
That doesn't mean people would buy it.
True. But
Like I can sell my toenail clippings for $1,000. And you'd be like, God damn, he sells his toenail clippings, but no one's buying it. You know what? Okay, already derailed. It's not even fucking 10 minutes. Derailed already. You know what sells interestingly, depending on how attractive you are? Farts. Have you fucking seen this shit? People like really pretty women farting in a bottle and selling that shit online.
what?
People, I don't know who the fuck's buying it. Like, if you want, I'll give you a free fart. Fucker, I got those bottled up. Oh, I know that. I don't. They do. In fact, one girl made so much money off of it, she was like catering her diet around it, and she had to stop doing it because it fucked up her like insides. It's like she just get too much gas and was causing like pain. She's like eating a lot of beans and a lot of fucking like Brussels sprouts, like all a bunch of different shit, just to be gassy because I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people, why they're buying it, but they are. There you go, there's your fuck. It's already been not even 15 minutes, you got your one more fascinating story for the day.
You'd have to edit that one out for sure.
What?
You'd have, like for sure have to edit that one out.
No.
Wow.
Who here read my introduction? Who actually read it, not just posted their own shit at the end, which I'm still gonna read.
I
Who
remember
actually read it?
about the Discord.
Most of you, over half of you did not raise your hand.
No, I did it.
Okay, you're 1 out of fucking like 8.
Oh.
I like
Sarah raised your hand. Okay, so in there, I talked about the Four Corners. Great fucking day. The Four Corners is where New Mexico and Arizona and Colorado and Nevada meet. It literally makes great. It's on one of the Indian reservations. I don't remember which tribe, but you go there and there's like they got like a plaque on the ground so you can like know when you're supposed to be standing on it. I don't think it's in the right spot. It was probably put there. It's close enough, but you can get your picture taken on it, and you're like la la la. And I'm in line with my wife, and I don't know if it was my mom or my mom-in-law. We took one of them to it. And in the line, I had to fart, and I'm like, I don't care other people around, especially outdoors. It goes up, no one smells it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm at fucking the Four Corners. This is gonna make a great story. I waited. Fucking waited, got up on my wife's getting ready to take the picture, and she knows my face. I don't know what I do that's different. Like, I think maybe I let my face relax for like a half of a second when I fart. But she's like getting ready and she fucking lowers it. She fucking gives me the eye. She takes the picture. And then afterwards she says, you know you did. And I say, yeah, I did. I fucking just fucking let one go. Right in 4 states. It's great.
At the same time.
I only did it once, but you're
I know,
standing on
yeah,
4 states.
4
Spreads it. It's technically in 4 states.
Farted in 4 states at once.
I crop dusted 4 states at once. It was great. All right, so mu here is, that's what we use for our mean symbol for population. I wrote there, that's for population mean. And when we're doing sample mean, we use X bar. That's for samples. And it's pronounced X bar. That's what we said. The calculation's the same. You add everything up. Does anyone in here not know the mean? It's something you've all probably seen before. You take the average of the numbers or add all the numbers up and divide by the total number of entries. We'll be doing an example in a second. Oh, well, you'll be doing an example in a second. That's the mean. And then the other option we were talking about was the median. Well, on the bell shape, it's in the middle. But it turns out on the skewed graphs that the median is closer to the hump. That's how I remember it. It's closer to the hump. And we'll go over how to do those in a second, but it's kind of like the center doesn't really tell us everything. The mean and the median is a nice piece of information, but like if I show you, like, let's look at some standard deviation or some bell-shaped graphs. I can have a nice graph like this, or I could have a nice bell-shaped graph that's like this. Or I could have a bell-shaped graph that's like this. It's like barely goes down. Those are all bell-shaped graphs. Different shape of bell, but so, and they all have the same center. Center is, I guess I could use green. The center is right here for all of them. So like the center doesn't tell us everything. So after we go over doing mean and median and stuff like that, we will look at something called dispersion or deviation that kind of like gives us some more information. And maybe while I'm here, because there's some space on the page. So like dispersion is how spread out is the data. From the center. And since if we look back at the skewed graphs, the mean and the median are in different spots, we tend to use the median. The center. I used to say that it was for skewed graphs, but the mean is the same as the median on the bell-shaped graph. We tend to use the median on the bell-shaped graph, but it's the same as the median, so it's like they're the same. One is actually easier to get for by hand than the other. You would think that the median would be easier to get, you're just trying to find the middle value. Fucking doing that when you got 100 numbers is a pain in the ass, especially if they're not sorted. It's not so bad in, like, if you get them all in a computer, but then neither is the mean. Like the computer, you can tell it to sort it on that sound, and then you can like use the rows to figure out where the center is, or the median is. So a little more information on this mean, median, shit like that. So mean. Before I continue, first off, let's state that, like, if we see English characters or letters, these are going to be for samples, sample groups. And when we see Greek letters, these are going to be for population groups. We have three major ones we're going to be dealing with here. So I'll group them like in like category, what do they do? And then we'll look at the sample one and we'll look at population. And here I'm just giving like some terminology. We'll go over formulas later on. So for the mean, we use X bar and we use mu. And it looks like a U, but there's a really long tail in the front. For standard deviation, which we'll be doing today, that is standard deviation, which unfortunately is abbreviated to STD. Like they didn't know what a fucking STD was before they came up with this abbreviation. We use S for that, and we use, this is called sigma. It's actually the lowercase sigma. And it looks like an O with a tail on it. So it's like, hey, there's a lot of fucking vowels here with tails on. We also have variance. Which really is the standard deviation squared. That's its value, as we will see in the terminology. Better out than in, right? It's out the top or out the bottom, you pick. That's what I have to tell my wife when she bitches that I burp in a restaurant. She gets madder than shit if I fucking fart in a restaurant. Burping's bad enough. I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen if I don't? The gas is going somewhere. If it's not coming out the top, it's coming out the bottom. And she shuts up. I think she's given up on that war already. We've been married 19 years. She's got to have given up by now. Okay, so we've said this before, but when we're talking about the group size, for sample, we use lowercase n. And for population, this is the only time we use an English letter. It's the uppercase N. And I'm pretty sure it's because like the Greek letter equivalent looks like a cursive N. How many of you don't know how to write in cursive? Only one of you is raising your hand, and most of you are fucking lying. I know they don't teach that shit anymore. A lot of schools don't teach cursive. Y'all really learn cursive? Huh, you might be like the last generation. They don't teach it anymore. I've heard a lot of schools, like, it's not needed anymore, we do everything by technology. The fuck it isn't. You try reading the teacher's fucking handwriting.
See, I get more teachers that make me write stuff in print because they don't want to deal with the cursive.
Usually they make you type it up, they make you print it, they don't make you type it up.
Ag classes.
Huh. Nice. I guess if it's not like a big paper thing, yeah. Oh yeah, if I can't read your handwriting, I'm like, I'll tell you. You don't have this problem in here because it's math. Well, you kind of do because the final is on paper and like some of it's gonna be like you're writing sentences. You gotta tell me what it means, which means use your words. If you have sloppy handwriting, print it. Like handwriting, cursive handwriting, print it.
I do print for math because printing or cursive and numbers look funky together in my opinion.
I don't think I've ever done cursive numbers because I don't even know what a fucking cursive number looks like.
Cursive and numbers.
Oh.
So math I just do.
Oh, yeah, okay, cursive, I'm like, cursive numbers, this is still zero. Look, it's not the fucking same, what do you got, italicize it, is it a slant, what's going on? Yeah, so like if you write sloppy, print it. The fucking doctors that can't, like, their fucking shit sloppy, it's deliberate. How hard is it to, like, it's your fucking name, it's the one word you write more than even the word the. You write your name more than anything else. How can you not fucking do it, like, right? It represents you. Why would you fucking make it look sloppy? They have it in their head that a good doctor doesn't have the time to, like, put a real signature. It's too much fucking TV. All right, back to work. Nope, not back to work. Greek letters, fun story, Greek letters. So, in mathematics, we like to use like X, Y, and Z for variables a lot. And I'm in grad school, and my advisor, he's from England. And I have another teacher, she's from France. And it's the only time I've really, like, I've had, I think, other international teachers before when I transferred to UC Merced, but I don't know that I've ever heard any of them say Z before. In the US, we say Z, and we're the only fucking country in the world that says Z. Every other country in the world says Z. Z-E-D, Z. And he would make fun of us, you stupid Americans, you fucking can't even say it right. And he'd say in good fun, like being a jackass, just for fun. Because we say Z because of the American alphabet song.
Yeah.
It rhymes with V. Z doesn't rhyme with V, so the guy fucking changed it for the lyrics. Well, he didn't fucking know that one of his students was Greek. We use a lot of Greek letters in there too. He was saying one of them wrong. And she made fun of him, and the reason why I'm gonna tell you this is because these are gonna show up when we start doing like chapter 8 and chapter 9. You're gonna see these a lot. This is alpha. And this character is spelled like that. Before, like most of you don't even have never used a VCR. One of like the most recent VCR brands was VHS, but before that, there was Betamax. A lot of people say this, pronounce this as beta. It's pronounced beta. Beta. And he said, you stupid English, or she told him, you stupid English people don't even know how to say beta right. And it was fucking great, we laughed at him. And it makes sense because if we see those two words together, alpha, beta, what does that look like?
Alphabet.
Yeah.
Alphabet. In fact, it's where we got the word alphabet. It's based off the first two letters of the Greek language. And if you never remember how to say beta again, or beta again, it's literally alpha, alphabet, Alpha beta. It's not alpha beta or alpha beta. No, it's alpha beta. All right. Back to the real stuff. All right, so means calculating the mean is they use the formula xi over n or xi over big N.
Wait, what category is it?
What?
Oh, is it still in the category thing or no?
This is about the mean, what the mean is. This symbol here is capital sigma. It means summation notation. And if my word sum looked like a better M, rather than having way too many fucking humps, like, there we go. Summation notation's got the word sum in it. When you see this, it means add the shit up. Xi for both of them are the data values. They put the I there to make sure you know that it's different for each one. The I is like an index, so like X1 is the first data value. X2 is the second. And I is going to end up going from 1 all the way up to the sample size. And I don't know that you need to know that. It's just that's what's going on. Let's just do a quick calculation in here. Let's do one. Let's talk about siblings. I'm gonna go around the room and ask you how many siblings you have. Like brother or sister, that's what a sibling is. I have one. I'm not including my 2 stepsisters, so I'm just gonna go with like blood relative. I've got one sibling. How many do you have one?
I say just one.
Just blood. 2?
Or
What is your name? I forget.
either.
Yvette, okay. Okay. You emailed me a lot. I know you know. Now I know everyone's name in here. Excellent. Theodore, how many you got?
Does half siblings count?
The fuck is a half sibling? What, cut them in half?
Like do you share a dad, but you don't share?
Oh, okay. Why did I go to
That's why I
fucking like a
asked.
brother cut in half? What the fuck is wrong with me? Sure, why not?
One.
You must not have any full siblings. For a question. I don't know. I think I have 2 half brothers. I don't know. I wasn't including them. If you want to include them, sure.
That's the
I have
case then 0.
What?
If that's the case, 0, then I put wrong.
We can go 0. Let's do 0. Fuck it. Let's do 0. John Luca.
I have a brother and sister.
What? Just give me a fucking number. I don't even know the names of the fucking social security numbers.
1.
Thank you, Mateo. Brenda.
2,
Kiera.
3,
Scotland.
4.
All right. Find and me. Go. You're gonna need to know how many entries there are. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There n equals 9 in this problem. Can I get this in my head? Let's see. Yeah. I think it's 2.11. If you add those up, if you're doing this in a calculator, I strongly recommend you hit enter before you divide by 9. This ends up being 19/9, which is actually the one goes on infinitely. That is one of the few ones that I know the fractions for that has some weird fucked up value. 1/9. In fact, all the ninths is just whatever the number is on top, like 2 ninths is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 7 ninths is 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Interesting. So, that's me. You guys know how to do me. Median. The median is find the central value.
2.
It might be, it looks like it might be. But maybe I should like put some more paper here. The median is the center value, but you have to have them in order.
You don't count 0, do you?
Yep. Sort them, then the middle value. Or the mean of the middle two values. When there's an odd number, when n is odd, you'll be able to find the center. So I'm gonna put them in order here. I've got a 0, and then I see I've got 2 1s, and I've got 3 2s, and I've got a 3, and I've got 2 4s. Is that 9 numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's 9 numbers. And then I'm just gonna like go in, that's 3 inward, that's 3 inward, 4 inward, 4 inward. There's my median right there. So the median is indeed 2. It doesn't equal the mean, but it's close. This is going to be usually the case unless stuff is really skewed. When is the median not close to the mean?
Outliers.
What?
When there are outliers.
When there are outliers. All right, Sarah, what is an outlier?
Even that is drastically above or below the rest of the data.
What?
A piece of data that's drastically above or below the rest of the data.
An outlier is, great way to put it, are data values that are extremely different, are far away. I'm going to say far from the center. I am probably an outlier on income in this room. Because I have a degree and a job based off of it, I make a lot of money. Like, I think it was like 140,000 was my tax return last year. Teaching in the valley is pretty good for professors. But like, so if we did the average income in here, I'm probably an outlier. But like, let's say you all had, like, you were all not in school, you all had decent jobs, somewhere between 60 to 150,000. It's a big range of numbers. But like, still, that, at that point, I'm not too far off. Picture we got our average, our median income, we're gonna be pretty close with like a bunch of people with degrees. Now, fucking Steve Jobs walks in. Well, if Steve Jobs could walk in. And we start looking at median job, or mean value now. Mean income now. Or Bill Gates. Or Warren Buffett, he's still alive. I know Bill Gates is alive too, but I don't think he like works anymore. I don't even think that he has, I don't even know if he has an income check anymore, but I know he's got to have like stock income and shit like that. That's how Warren Buffett sees stuff, so I guess. They make so goddamn much money that when if like Bill Gates was in here and we average our income, our average is probably like, what, 500,000 or some shit like that? I don't know how much he makes a year. But like 500,000 is way more than anybody else in the room but him makes. He completely fucks up the mean. That's an outlier. Doesn't need to be that bad. We'll look at a data set in a second where I asked people, and I did it with students, and I put it on Facebook as well, and like asked people to respond to a bunch of questions like, we were trying to get just a wide variety of people's descriptions, height, hair color, shit like that, pretending that we were making a random group of people that were gonna be questioned about being like a murderer or something like that. Like, they're on the scene, this is the range of people. It was for stats class. I had, of course, as a teacher, I had a lot of people that were, you know, like 16 to 22. I had someone that was 79 there too. I don't know who the hell was using Facebook at 79. I know it wasn't a student of mine. There are students that are that old, but they're not that common. 60-year-old students are rare as it is, but I get like one or two a year. At least 60. If I start counting 50 and up, I get several a year. But look at an 80-year-old, 79, I don't think I've ever had one. That's like brittle. Very few people that age do you see like out doing shit. My buddy's grandpa, when I was growing up, he was fucking active while he was like in his mid-90s out fucking golfing. I'm like, God damn, you would never have guessed he's like 90-something. You're like, how?
I show horses with a guy that's 92.
It's fucking crazy. All right, so that's what an outlier is. It's just someone extremely far from the center. And that happens on the skewed graphs. So when the data is skewed. I put a question mark because I want to know what an outlier was, and I let her describe it. So this is when we have skewed graphs. That's when the mean doesn't really look like the median. When I was growing up, my babysitter, my brother and mine babysitter, my mom was a waitress at night at a bar. And my mom and dad had been divorced since we were like 1. So she would take us like 5 houses down the street to someone called the Plogs. I hated being there because my mom didn't get off work till like we were asleep. And like she was going to work when we got home from school. This was for a long time. So like many days, like most of the weekdays, we didn't see our mom in the evening. We only saw her in the morning. I hated fucking being at the Plogs. Me and my brother used to sit outside and fucking sit on the porch crying, like 8 years old, just crying to go home. And until we were old enough to figure out how to open the fucking gate and go home, like where home was. She had 9 kids. There are families that have outliers, for siblings and shit like that. I've had students say over 10 before, when I think I've had one say 13 siblings, which meant 14 fucking kids, because they're one of them. That's a lot of kids. That's a mom that really loves her husband, because that's gotta fucking hurt. I've never had one kid, but I've heard it hurts. I can't imagine like saying, sure, let's do 13 more. At some point, you're like, nope, fucking get a second wife or some shit. Right? Okay, so in terms of outliers, we have this word called resistant. Is a statistic resistant? Sarah, what does resistant mean?
Don't know that one.
Really? Okay. You're gonna learn something then. A statistic is resistant if an outlier has little effect on the value. The statistic is said to be resistant. We like resistant statistics. Let's go back to this Bill Gates thing or the fucking Plogs having 9 kids, we're talking about siblings. If we added one more person and added 9 people to that category, like I added the Plogs. In fact, let's write this down. If we had one more person with 9 kids in the family. The total was 19, it's now gonna be 19 plus 9, and the bottom is no longer 9, it's 10. 19 plus 9 is 28, over 10 is 2.8. Let's go back and look at the median. Now we add in that fucking 9. If we're calculating the median here, I can go in 4 that way, I can go in 4 that way. And the median is gonna be the average of these 2 values, which is easy because it's the same, but normally you add them up and divide by the total and we get 2. So the median is 2. And our mean is 2.8. Which one of these was drastically affected by the Plogs showing up? The means changed quite a bit. It may not be like, if we're talking about money, it's $2.11 to $2.80. That's not a lot. But like, it's gone up 0.7, which is like a 33% increase. It's a big increase relatively to the value. So like the mean has changed a lot, but the median is still exactly the same. It hasn't changed at all. The mean is not resistant, but the median is. We do have one other form of finding the center. I want to make sure everyone's had a chance to write down what they want to write. Oh, let me wet my whistle. fucking drawing a cowboy hat, what are you doing?
Just draw
I
it.
see your pen moving, I think you're working, and then I look down and I see fucking shady something, and it's fucking sketchy. You got bored. The other form of, center that we do is the mode. The mode is the response that occurs the most often. Or in terms of the word we used in previous chapter, it has the highest frequency. Now, if every response is unique, like none of them occur more than once, we say that there is no mode. That makes sense. There's not a most common one. If there are two responses with the same frequency, we say that it is bimodal. And more than two, we don't go like trimodal and shit like that. We just immediately past that, we say multimodal. That is not going on any test, but if they ask you a question, that's what that shit means. We need this thing, even though we love median. Both the median and the mean require that the data to be numerical. The mode does not. We can use this for qualitative data. Or categorical. What hair color is the most common? We can't do an average hair color. That don't make no sense. It's been almost an hour. You guys need a 5-minute break? All right, let's take a break. This will be continued in the next video for part B.